Happy Monday, all my Liberty kitty cats out there who have been listening over the years, or maybe it's your first time. Either way, thanks to all you, because I would have not done this if it were not for you guys, if it were not for the people that reach out and say that they've listened to the show, been affected by the show, if it were not for the download numbers that tell me, yes, in fact, more and more people are coming on, are listening to Lions of Liberty, are talking about these ideas, I would not be here doing 500 episodes. I can tell you that for sure. So thanks to each and every one of you for your support. Of course, especially to our patrons that got to hear this entire show live, raw, and uncensored. Actually, they got to see the entire show. They got to see the live stream of this show. So our patrons are, of course, the lifeblood of Lions of Liberty. Thanks to all of you. To learn more about that, head over to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty. Before we get into the show, I just want to tell you, this is a long one. It's so long that I broke it up into two parts. The first part is when, let's say I have a little bit more of my faculties about me. We've got a couple special guests that are going to be appearing. That will be part one. And later today, I'm going to be airing part two, which is a little more, well, it's a lot crazier. It's a lot drunker, on my end anyway, and a lot more wild of an experience. So I have two shows essentially for you today. Two episode 500s, the show that was so big that it couldn't be contained in one episode. Before we get into it, I just have a very special word from Dr. Ron Paul.
Hello, and congratulations to the Lions of Liberty podcast for reaching 500 episodes. The Liberty Movement needs as many committed individuals as possible to spread our message of voluntarism and peace. 500 episodes proves to me that the Lions of Liberty are committed. Keep up the great work, and always remember to have fun.
We need to empower people with not just the philosophical tools, but the inspiration to break free from the system.
Welcome to the flagship Lions of Liberty podcast, your weekly dose of education, inspiration, and real-world application from the top minds in the liberty movement.
If you want liberty, we need to be better leaders, better husbands, better fathers, better friends, better businessmen. We need to be better people.
Here's your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Claire.
Live long and live free.
All right, well, welcome. They said it would never last, but it apparently has 500 episodes at least, just from this guy alone. Of course, we have many episodes beyond that here on the Lions of Liberty feed, but hello to our longtime listeners, new-time listeners, and especially to those watching live. Those are, of course, our patrons in the Lions of Liberty Pride, the people who have funded the show, supported the show over the years, and helped us achieve exactly what we've achieved. Because I don't know about you, specifically Brian. Brian McWilliams is here, by the way. He is the host of Electric Liberty Land. Hello,
I'm here. Sorry, I was distracted. I got a picture of Joe Biden up behind me on my virtual background, and he's pointing, and I was pulling his finger, and because he's an old man, I was making a little fart noise to entertain myself. Because, he's got to be very flatulent.
Have I bored you that much already? Is this what
it's not that you're boring me. It's that how can I not? Look at this. You see what I'm doing here? There you go, Joe. It's hilarious.
Okay. While I'm introducing people, these are two of the people that I guess I go as far back as you can go with, both in life and, well, I guess I could go further back. I didn't know you till I was 18, but I don't know. I don't have friends from when I'm in kindergarten. Do you guys? Are you guys friends with people you were friends with when you're really small?
My one friend, yeah. My friend Ben I've known since we were toddlers. Best friend Ben, yeah. Best friend Ben I've known forever. Otherwise, I think most of the people are high school that I became friends with.
Okay. Howie, what about you?
Couple first grade friends.
Howie Snowden, first grade friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. But I feel the most important friends you make are the friends you make in the college years when you've somewhat become an adult. You've shed a little bit of your childhood, and that is where I know both of these gentlemen right here from, both of which have been a big part of my liberty journey. It did actually start with Howie, so I think I have recanted this many times on the show throughout the years, Howie, but since you're here, since you're not too drunk just yet, by the way, I'm going to need to know what you guys are drinking. I'm drinking a couple things, because this is the 500th episode, extravaganza. This is going to be a long extravaganza that is, by the time it airs, I don't even know how it's going to come out, if I'm going to edit it, how I'm going to edit it, who knows? But you know who's going to know everything? The people in the Pride, because they're getting the live, unedited stream with video and all. But I'm drinking this Mulholland Distillery American whiskey here, because it's 500 episodes. I'm drinking whiskey tonight, kids. And
nice.
let's see. a wild little thing, slightly sour ale. I'm balancing out the manly drink with the not quite so manly, but very delicious.
It's an alcoholic chaser. That works.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. So I'm having a good time. What about you, Brian?
I am drinking. I figured, being the 500th episode, I stuffed my own blue cheese olives. For some reason, it's like cutting out with the green screen, but I've got blue cheese stuffed olives, and I'm drinking a martini. So I'm classing it up, a little dirty martini for the show. Even though I got quite drunk watching the Super Bowl, because we're recording this right after the Super Bowl. Fourth wall. You can cut that part out if you want. And felt not great. Not great all day. Still don't feel great.
Howard?
I feel worse than Patrick Mahomes after sucking ass.
I think he feels fine, to be honest with
Blue
you.
cheese
Well,
is
probably.
great, though. I wish I was drinking what Brian was drinking. I've just got some Dogfish Head Sequence ale, and when I'm done with that, I'll probably drink some Yingling.
Blue cheese is great, and while we're talking to people about their drinks, we may as well bring our first guest. He's not really our first official guest. We have some more official guests coming soon, but any minute now, it appears we're going to be joined by our unofficial legal counsel. Now, for those people that are in the Lions of Liberty Pride, which is everybody watching live right now, you know that the man you're probably about to hear from in some form is always having technical difficulties, whether with his camera, his headphones, the input, the output, what have you. So even though he's currently joining the waiting room, joining the Zoom meeting, who knows when we actually hear from him. So while we wait, Howie, why don't you just recant as best as you can remember the first recant? Is that even the term?
No, that's
recant
like
is when you take something back, right?
Yeah, you don't want to recant. You want to recap, recount,
Recount.
possibly
it.
recount.
Yeah. I did not.
One thing I have not
convert
learned in
Mark
500
to Liberty.
episodes.
I did not spread these ideas around to him.
You did not? You had nothing to do with
I
this?
recant.
Oh, yeah.
After seeing what's become of this terrible show, how he recants any affiliation that has existed.
No, yeah, I was just lucky to know the great Dr. Ron Paul when I was younger, and he planted that seed in me, and all the drunken conversations in college, guess it stuck with Mark, too.
It's like one of those things, it's
For
almost
a little
like
more detail, but
I know.
Well, I
it's
think
just, we've told the story so many times, I don't want to bore the listeners.
we have thousands and thousands of new listeners in the last year. That's not an exaggeration.
That is
There's
true.
a lot of people that don't know the whole history. That's the whole point. This is going to be a little bit of a retrospective,
Yeah, all right,
a little bit
all
of
right,
this,
all
of
right.
This Is Your Life on myself and Lions of Liberty.
All right. Well, so when I was a junior in high school, I was a congressional page, worked on the House floor.
Now I'm going to get the 3-hour version. Look what I've done.
No, and I mean,
Go
I
for
was
the 3-minute version.
I wasn't political at all, so I was just kind of listen. What do Republicans say? What do Democrats say? And I would hear them speak on the House floor every day, and it just all seemed like a bunch of bullshit, except for when Ron Paul was speaking. Like, and it sounds corny. We said it like a million times, but like truth has like a different ring to it. You could like tell he believed what he was saying, and it was true, and it was not what other Republicans were saying. And I met him a few times. He gave me like some books he wrote, and from then on, I was libertarian. And libertarians, they can't shut up about it, especially when you're drinking. So in college, many nights when we were often drinking a lot,
or what have you, yeah.
Mark and everybody got to hear my drunken libertarian rants then, just like we all hear my drunken libertarian rants now. It's that it never ends.
Yeah, now other people get to hear them. That's the weirdest part. That's all that really happened. That's all Lions of Liberty ultimately is. It's taking what we talked about in college and then hitting record. And we're a little bit older, hopefully wiser. Who knows?
Pretty much. Well, it's like you were talking with you did that show with Thad Russell, and you were talking about listening back to your first episodes and how you change. Like your views change, your understanding changes, your philosophy changes a little bit, how you approach stuff changes. So it's interesting to think about where we would have been in college talking about these topics versus today. And I like to think about the way how we would have converted people is kind of like the subliminal tapes that teach you how to speak French, where you're more or less ignoring it, but it kind of worms its way in after a while. I think that was probably Howie's drunken babbling in college. And it just wormed its way in. And then eventually we were like, what's this liberty thing we've been hearing about? And Howie's like, I've been telling you about that for years.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't actually remember the story. I've told the story a million times, but it's from just the knowledge that it happened. I don't actually remember the day that you told me about Ron Paul or anything at all.
Honestly, I don't remember any of this either, but I know you tell me I gave you a Harry Brown book. I'm sure I did. I don't have it anymore.
None of this happened. This is all a group imaginary. It's like a psychotic episode that somehow we all shared. And it's brought us here.
There is evidence of this because that very book supposedly anyway, worked its way into the hands of John Odermatt when I gave it to him when we were in our 20s, and I was first introducing him to the Ron Paul Liberty ideas. And I believe he still has that book. So, because Tyler also has a copy that we signed, but that's not the
that was
historical copy.
That was the replacement that I got because I never got the one I gave you back.
All right, you didn't? No.
And I now have
will now.
About a month ago, I got a third copy of it for myself. But
by the way, was Mark's...
That book, by the way, is How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World.
There you go. Was your prediction about Rico deadly accurate, or is he just not turning his video on?
No,
he's just a black box in the corner.
He has full control. He has no microphone connected, no anything connected.
Lovely.
This is the perfect example. Actually, I kind of hope he stays this way the whole way. To be honest. As entertaining as the man is, I mean, we can hear Rico on a bunch of podcasts, but we can't not hear him on as many. Well, yeah, we can not hear him on millions of podcasts.
We should just cut and paste clips from Degenerate Gamblers together and other Conspiracy Corner episodes to have him say something truly atrocious that'll get him canceled. Kind of like E-Bomb's World. They had the soundboards you can play with. So Rico's just on here going, "Hey guys, I like Nazis," and we'll just tape it together.
All right. So it's only a few of you here. I don't even know. I don't think Rico can even hear us, but I'm going to try my first little Lions of Liberty retrospective. Do you guys want to hear my debut? My debut on air debut.
I can't wait to hear how high your voice was.
Let's see. This is honestly, I'm doing a lot here. I'm really self-deprecating because I'm embarrassed by these early clips and early shows, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if I can figure out how to stream meetings, let's see. I'm going to do a little screen share while Howie pounds on his very loud keyboard. And I think you should be able to hear the sound when I play the clip in just a moment. But I did. Years I actually spent some time preparing for a show, and I did so by preparing a few clips. So let's see. First of all, let's see if you guys can hear this when I play this clip. You hear this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow! I forgot the old original sound. Or the original.
Welcome to the inaugural edition, the very first episode of the Lions of Liberty podcast. I am your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Claire. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a pretty good chance that you're already familiar with myself or with the website that I serve as editor-in-chief for, lionsofliberty.com, where our mission, along with a few colleagues of mine, good friends of mine, where our mission is to advance the ideas of liberty daily. And, if you're not familiar with our website, and of course, as soon as you're done listening to this podcast, I highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to pause this. When I first started the podcast, all I wanted to do was to get people to go read the website. That was I didn't start a podcast to get people to listen to the podcast. I was like, oh,
here's the podcast topics for today. Yeah. I'm going to read off the names of the articles which we've worked on the last week and a half, and you can visit them. I'll also read out the entire URL. We didn't shorten them, so you have to have a lot of random letters at the end. lionsofliberty.com/Ron Paul P451924.
In our minds, I think we just really wanted to grow the website because I didn't even think about podcasting as a thing I would do. And then it just if you like what you hear here, maybe even if you don't, maybe I come across better on the internet than I do speaking. We'll find out soon. This is my first go at it. Than I do speaking. What am I even talking about?
I don't even know. Well, you're both on the internet. The website's the internet. And the podcast's the internet. It's all internet.
I was nervous. And I was nervous. What's funny is I'm nervous recording the show alone. Yeah, I was alone until I invited my guest in, Stefan Kinsella. I'm going to introduce.
And look at us now. None of us give a goddamn about what anybody thinks. Screw all of you listening right now.
No, you don't. So, Brian, do you recall, do you recant the first time that we talked about liberty? I remember a certain moment when I vividly remember walking to the sports harbor, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I said something about something, who knows what, and you said, yeah, the government's all fucking corrupt, man. And I was just like, I think I have one here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly. It's kind of all a blur. It was, in the first couple of years with when you moved here, and because obviously we'd gotten involved with Ron Paul going door to door in 2008. But I cannot remember the genesis of the exact conversations. I do remember.
That's basically every story that we have. So we don't actually remember this. So we made a one-up. Yeah, sounds like what probably happened.
It just kind of like, steamrolls. You're talking about a bunch of crap drunk, and then it just kind of.
By the way,
you're still screen sharing. Yes, we can see everything you're doing right now. We can see Rico's real name, which is terrible. Make sure that gets edited out. Blur it.
Okay, we'll blur that.
But I remember we were talking a lot. I remember converting some people at the Sports Harbor back when that existed on in our old haunt, the original Sports Harbor, including a buddy of ours who passed away, sadly, but he was a convert. And Ron Paul was so inspiring.
Wait, who's the buddy of ours who's a convert?
It's so long ago now. I'm trying to think who it was that
made an impact on your life. This guy.
Yeah. Gavin?
Gavin. Okay, because he was actually a guest
Gavin
on the show.
Yeah, that's right. Because he had run for office in Washington. But anyway, he sadly passed away. However, it was Gavin. And I remember talking in bars about it. And then also when Ron Paul, of course, got out in the open, he really swept me away with his magical words of truth, as how he said, the ring of truth to them, and made me a convert. And then, of course, we went canvassing door to door. We had the very famous beer pong tournament to raise money for the money bombs that we held at the at Brennan's Turtle Bar. And from there on, it just kind of got into the writing heavy. Remember Dom Sidoti?
I did.
He was one of our 4 writers at lionsofliberty.com at the beginning.
In fact.
And talented writer who then just fell off the face of the planet completely.
Well, funny you say that because, hold on. That would be funny if it was him.
Is Dom actually our next guest? Do I not know this? Did he change his name and shave his head?
He is not our next guest, but we do have a next guest. And he is coming in. He's our first official guest. Oh my God. It's Pete Quinones. Look at him.
What up?
Look at that shiny bastard. Can you hear us,
He's
Pete?
here.
Pete, you're muted. You're muted.
He's coming through clear, almost.
Let me take care of this. I would ask you. I'm going to ask you to unmute. There he is, Pete Quinones, ladies and gentlemen.
What's happening, guys? How you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, kidney stone. A lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
That's
when you
actually why
pissed it
we
out,
brought you on
did it
today.
shoot against the wall? I think I'd be so angry. I'd shoot the kidney stone out so hard out of my dick it would shatter the porcelain bowl of the toilet.
This is actually a segment called "How the State Gave
It's
Me Kidney
still
Stones."
in
By Pete
there.
Quinones.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's still in there.
That's not great.
Oh, poor guy.
Have you tried strangling your like punching yourself in the kidneys, then strangling your dick real hard to try to break it up?
No.
No, I don't think he did that.
Well, I'm offering you solutions, man.
I
You don't
was
have
going to tell
take
my
them.
dad, be sure to tune into this episode, and I'm already not. It's already.
I would imagine if you just drank a lot, it would help.
I drank over 100 ounces of Coca-Cola yesterday because somebody that I really respect, who's a healthcare professional, said that
Dr. Fauci.
it'll probably take all the edges off of it, and actually the acid in it will wear it away and make it smaller.
So you have no teeth, but also no kidney
Right.
stones.
Well, and also I don't do sugar and I don't drink soda. So that was the weirdest experience ever. I mean, I was
were you literally shaking and having heart palpitations?
No, I wasn't at all. And that's the weird part. It was probably with the oxy and everything. That was, it was just everything canceled itself.
Nice. Well,
today
send
was
me
the
your
first day
extra
I didn't have to do painkillers.
Wow, nice. Are you sad about that fact or happy?
I'm happy. I can't stand those things, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to do painkillers. That's the thing with painkillers.
Yeah.
If you have to do them, they suck. If you don't have to do them,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm
I
curious
neither
to hear.
encourage nor discourage any behavior on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I'm sure you have questions for Pete, but I'm curious. Mark
No,
just
not
played
really.
a clip. No, okay, good. Well, then
I don't have questions.
I'm taking over those. So I was curious because Mark played a clip of him doing his first ever episode. So Pete, do you know when did you first catch wind of Lions of Liberty? I'm curious how long ago it was, and if you heard Mark in his glory days of a high voice nymph of podcasting, or if it was later on.
High voice. I just hide it.
It was like 2016. And I can't remember. Do you remember having? Do you remember having 5 years ago? I want to say. I want to say it was like Scott Horton or someone like that.
Probably. Sounds about right,
probably the first time he was on back, because I remember we were still doing Rand pluses and minuses back then. That was before I had Electric Liberty Land. I think that might have been before Felony Friday was even around, and. Because I remember Horton was on. We were both on with Scott Horton at one point, which was an adventure in not speaking, as we all know, when you have Scott on your program.
It is
What was
called
it? What did you say?
Rand pluses
and minuses.
That's right. We have audio production, my friends, in this episode.
fantastic.
We have drops. That was from the old segment. That was Brian's. It wasn't your podcast debut. You came on during a few. I have some more clips we might play later. It wasn't your podcast debut. You came on. We did Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor, but it was the first time you sort of branched off into your own segment, which one might say, I gave you the opportunity, and you might say, too, that eventually led to the sterling success that is Electric Liberty Land. We also now have attempt. We currently are watching live. For those watching live, this is attempt number 2 of Rico trying to join the call. So stay tuned. He may or may not be successful at that. Proceed, Brian. I think you were saying something. Not. If not, say something.
Okay, well, no, I was just going to say, Rand Paul's Minuses was definitely the pilot, you could say, for Electric Liberty Land. The format hasn't changed much. I talk about subjects I vaguely know something about in a roundabout manner until I run out of time and I can stop talking about them. It's basically how I run my life and my show. Well, fake it till you make it.
Let me turn into the interviewer here.
Yeah, please.
Who was the one person that you asked to come on the show that you were absolutely shocked said yes?
Every guest in the first 10 episodes of the podcast for Marc.
I gotta pause. I'll answer that in a second. But I currently have a second account of Rico trying to get on the call.
Wow.
So let's see if this one works. I've got 2 Ricos currently trying to join this party, this call, this episode. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so the first guest that was, I think he was maybe episode 5 or 6 or 7.
Kane?
I just, exactly how, yeah. I was a big wrestling fan, and I had read a couple articles from Glenn Jacobs, like on LouRockwell.com, and I was like, screw it, I'm just going to email him. Like, obviously, he's not going to give me the time of day. And literally, it was within minutes that after I emailed him, he emailed back like, oh, yeah, sure, I think I've heard of you guys. I'll come on. I was like, you think you heard of us? What are you talking about? I think you're mistaken, sir. It's actually possible because we, like I said, we talked about in the beginning, at first our focus was on articles, the website, we were kind of Ron Paul propagandists, I'd say, for a couple of years. And then we started to do, kind of deep dives on anarcho-capitalist theory and whatnot. And so we had a couple years worth of articles out there, and we would post them out around libertarian forums and the Daily Paul. So it is quite possible he had seen the name Lions of Liberty at some point. But either way, he just shot back, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. I was just like, what? I really wasn't. It's not that I was expecting a no. I was just expecting to be politely ignored. Nothing else.
Marc, that was not only the first episode of Lions of Liberty that I listened to, but it was the first podcast I ever listened to.
In your entire life? Wow.
In my entire life, yep. Like you were talking about, you had this podcast thing. I never checked it out. And then you said Kane was coming on. Like, I need to hear this. And that's ever since I've been a listener. So
I think Rico might know. He's only fake.
I want to see how many Rico accounts we can get in that waiting room before he actually gets in.
There's another one coming in right now. Coming in hot.
7 in a row.
The one currently is in the chat with a black screen and no audio. I love that the 500th episode is going to be hijacked by just 2 hours of Rico trying to join the show. That's my favorite thing.
All you hear is bing bong in and out.
I will say, Pete, at one point I was like, man, should I do this podcast anymore? I don't know. I'm not feeling it. And then I saw that suddenly Pete Quinones is at 500 episodes when I've been podcasting for 2 or 3 years longer. And I said, no, I can't. I can't let this guy just lap me and just ride off into the sunset. I mean, you're going to keep lapping me because I'm probably never going to produce 3 episodes a week ever in my life of this particular show. I don't
know how I do that.
I don't know how you do it either,
I have no idea how I do it. Because, I'll get to a Wednesday and have nothing. It'll be like, I'll drop the Wednesday episode and be like, all right, I have nothing. And then somebody will contact me and be like, you want to come on? Can I come on the show and talk? And I'm like, okay, sure. Why not?
Bird's drunk and reading Russian Soviet literature again.
So basically you're telling us Free Man Beyond the Wall is like an AA meeting for libertarians. You show up, you can talk about whatever you want.
It pretty much is. And I've gotten to the point now where it's like, except for when Bird comes on, because we have an agenda when he comes on, we know what we're going to do. I just want people to come on and talk. I just want people to come on and talk about what's going on, what the culture is, how they feel, how they're looking at things. I mean, it's really all. I mean, even the one I did with Vin the other night. I mean, we had an agenda on that one, but we didn't know where it was going to go. I had read the article twice and I knew he had read it once, and I didn't know whether he was going to want to do an hour and 15 on it. And we ended up doing an hour and 15 on it. We could have done 6 hours on that article because it's absolutely insane. So
it's so great seeing the mask drop on everybody like this year.
It's amazing.
Ironic.
That article, I got I was 6 paragraphs into that article, and I was just like, they're just telling you everything, and I just couldn't believe it. It was one of the greatest things I've ever. It's still one of the best articles I've ever read. I mean, and 6,000. I don't read 6,000 word articles, and I read that twice. You know, so.
That article, I posted this in a Substack post that I did. It really is a perfect red pill, blue pill litmus test. If someone reads that and doesn't see something wrong with it, that's all you need to know. And there are a segment of people that call themselves libertarians that fall into that camp. Not most of them. Most of them are either shocked or saying, this is what I expected. What's shocking about it isn't that it happened. We pretty much know this is what happened. It's the pure laying it out in a major news publication and just saying it. And even after listening to you and Vin talk about it, Pete, for an hour and a half or so, I'm still can't decide if that's a sign, a hopeful sign, because it will maybe awaken and embolden more people to really understand what's going on, or if it's a scary sign that if they're being this bold and really laying it out there, that I don't really like where that goes either way.
That's kind of the thing I think about too, is like they've lost their fear of putting it out there so brazenly, which is a little bit terrifying.
Is it to just rat us out? Is it to bring us all out of the hole? You know?
Yeah.
If you criticize it, you're in the one side. If you don't, well, good. You're part of the team. Let's see. We got another Rico.
My Substack tomorrow will be about just the absurdity of this all, and just how I've gotten to the point where I actually think that your neighbor can be a lot more dangerous than the state at this point, because they're so gullible. They so easily buy into this stuff, and they're becoming soldiers for it. Yeah. You know, I mean, the thing that these people don't understand about the whole QAnon movement was, it was an opiate. It made people think that Batman was out there fighting for them and they didn't have to do anything. Well, that's not what the left is doing with their acolytes now. They're radicalizing them to turn them into brown shirts and soldiers. So who the hell knows where we're going?
Indeed, yeah, that's something I mentioned in my conversation with Thaddeus Russell that ran today. Today, if you're in the Pride and you're hearing this live, seeing this live, yeah, I mean, like I've never feared the government. I've been opposed to the government. I understand the concept of why governments in power can be scary, but what I've come to realize, it's really not the government itself that should ever be the scary thing. The government is it's a very, very small, actually. Even a large government is relatively very, very small. What we really have to fear are our neighbors, our fellow man, and it's the people here, especially in California, especially in Los Angeles, that other than maybe like 7 people that I know, like literally know personally, like everyone else I'm pretty much afraid of. Not afraid of themselves physically, what they will call for to happen to me if I don't comply with the silly bullshit that they think I have to do.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who quotes over and over again the famous Andrew Breitbart line that politics is downstream from culture. And if you understand that, then government is a reflection of the people. And that should scare the crap out of everyone.
Right. Exactly.
Especially at this point.
Well, completely. Well, government, without a doubt, is a reflection of the people. I mean, that was like one of the things I did way back. This is probably a couple of years ago now, but I did an episode about Rick and Morty, and how they had a great episode illustrating where, you know, the people that run your government are imbeciles and assholes like anybody else. And even if you have the perfect government system set up, you still have the same assholes running it. So inevitably, it's going to collapse. So no matter who you put in there, if you say, okay, culture is upstream from law, so you have the worst people making the worst laws, then getting elected to the worst offices and running it, there's really no fix that can be made, because while the system exists, you're still going to have the worst people at all times in there. And even if you get the best people in there, they will become corrupted and they will be bad actors no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Mic drop.
Yeah, you guys can feel free to talk about.
We've got our third Rico entry. This is very exciting.
On his iPad, let's see if Jason's iPad has entered. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm jealous of all you guys' filters, so I'm doing this.
Do it. Oh, lovely.
Wow.
There he is.
Well, we see him. We might hear him soon. Jason's iPad, welcome. I mean, Rico's iPad. Rico's iPad. Welcome to Lions of Liberty.
I just gave up on the computer. I don't have a mic to plug into an iPad, so my sound probably sucks.
Well, the funny thing is, your sound is probably better than when you have an actual mic.
It sounds way less echoey because you sit, 12 to 13 feet away from the microphone typically, and it just bounces off the ceiling. And, you have it under the desk.
Is
For
this
those
better?
newer to the show, Rico can often be heard on our Liberty draft shows, on libertarians in living rooms drinking liquor when we decide to bring him in. And he can
Liberty
always be
draft shows.
Yeah, we haven't done that in about 7 or 8
What we do
months.
every 8 months.
Yeah. But you can hear him in the Patreon all freaking day long on Degenerate Gamblers, on Conspiracy Corner, and on Bravo and Beer for those that like to listen to Brian, Rico, and Odie get drunk and talk about
It's our. You know what? I was gonna post in the Mises Caucus about this because Bravo and Beer is basically, and your pod to a different take though, because we're much more vulgar. But it's kind of like our legion of skanks to Dave's part of the problem. I'd say is how Bravo and Beer would be described.
Yeah, equal audience size.
You don't have to watch those shows to enjoy it. I've never watched a single episode of any of those shows, but it's great.
No, you don't. Pete, what's your spinoff show going to be? Because we all need a broad offering that's not purely libertarian.
Game of Thrones reviews with Pete Quinones.
Well, what's funny is that there's talk about me doing the first 5th episode that Timeline Earth has because they're doing Friday episodes, and it
Which, by the way, Bird openly admits that Timeline Earth is the Lions of Liberty model based, as is everything.
Of course it is.
Podcast.
They have ripped off every idea we've had in sequence immediately.
I consider it all an homage, and I'm a fan of it all. So,
yeah.
So I might do that, and the first episode would be like why Ram Dass was like one of the most important humans that ever lived to me, and one of my biggest influences.
I need to hear about more.
I will
weird
listen
shit
to
that I
this.
like.
What'd you say?
Ram Dass is a
Two
person?
listeners
I
right
thought Ram Dass was a computer operating system that I used to type in C++ and all that
he's
Oh,
shit, or
both
C://
now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
ascended, man. He's both. He's in the computer too.
You've never
I'm
read
sure.
Be Here Now, Brian?
No, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. What is Be Here Now? Is that an
Brian's
autobiography
never
of
even
the
dropped LSD.
programmer?
A friend of mine just had that sent to her randomly by a high school friend, and I told her, I said, you have to read that. You don't have to read it in order. You have to read that, but do not try to read that sober. Do not, you have to get high or do mushrooms or something, because you're not going to get it. You're not going to get the
This
message.
is good advice.
Well, now you've really sucked me in. I feel like I have to read it now. It's called Be Here Now. I'll live order it on Amazon right now.
I'd lend it to you, but I'm sure just like the Harry Brown book I lent Mark, I'd never see it again.
Well, the thing is, you'd have to mail it to me, and the cost to mail it would be about the equivalent of me just buying it on Amazon Prime and having it shipped to my house anyway. So what would be the point? Yeah, give that Ram Dass person some money, or whoever's writing it. So Rico, welcome to the show. What's your earliest memory of Lions of Liberty as a contributing member?
That's the question everyone has to ask.
Oh, as a contributor, well, I remember the first show I did. It was like a Naughty or Nice way back in like 2014 or
like a
15
Christmas
or
show.
something. Yeah, and I did it from a New York hotel room that didn't have a working elevator, and I was on the 26th floor, and I had to walk up, and then like I didn't have time to get any booze for the show, and then I was like, well, I could go down to the bar. But then I'd have to walk down 26 floors and back up. So I just fake drank something. Said I made up whatever I was drinking. So.
Lying from the start. So your first appearance on the show is as a liar. And are you still a liar? What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking wine that was in my refrigerator because I drink red wine cold.
Tell me it's in a box.
Smart person.
That's basically just grape juice.
It was Trader Joe's something.
$2 Chuck.
It was like the red wine you use if you're going to make sangria. I forget what it's like, Grenache or something.
You just buy cooking wine. It's like, can I just get a bottle of cooking sherry? You're like an alcoholic homeless man. Speaking of bum wine.
Yes, that's our spin-off.
My God, should I? Is it a bum wine?
Oh,
time?
nice.
Oh, we have that bum. I mean, you have it. I don't have to.
I have the bum. I mean, 500 episodes does seem to be a time that I should have some of it. I really don't want to.
For a bum wine, this would be that time.
I'll open it and have some.
They sell that at the Food Lion near me, but
All right,
I cannot find Cisco anywhere to save my life. Do they even make
Maybe
Cisco
Cisco
anymore?
the rapper bought it out.
There's
and
like
killed it.
25 flavors of Cisco now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like a Mad Dog. They're rolling it out.
Maybe
All
I need
right,
to go
here
to,
we
like-
go. Wild Irish Rose.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Happy 500th show to us all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a sip.
Happy-
I'm not gonna drink a lot of it.
Happy 14th birthday drinking that.
Oh, that is sweet. That is sweet.
The last time I drank that, I
Feliz
had to
quinceañera,
call off
Brian.
work the next day.
You know, it actually, I will say it goes down smooth for a 17% sugar water. You know? I can see why these bums like it so much. I could sleep on some railroad tracks after a couple bottles of this.
The nights
Wouldn't
that I
even feel
don't
it.
remember drinking garbage like that in college are just. Whew.
You definitely drank Mad Dog in college. We all drank Mad Dog.
Boone's
And
Farm
we drank
Sangria.
Hurricanes.
Boone's Farm Sangria was
Boone's
definitely
Farm was
the
number
best.
one for me.
Yeah.
That was my first exposure to that sort. I was like, oh, it's like juice. This is before I understood the evil
Well,
and power of it.
Hey,
And
how about
I
this?
I
just
have
slammed
2
my first one.
boons, and you have 2
I think that was the
boons.
time. That was the time. Tell the story. That was the first time I had it. Rico was there.
I don't know where we were. It was with
a
I
friend of
forget
mine and her friend, and yeah,
he
that was
was
the story.
flamboyant, I guess was
That would be.
a good
one
word to use. He's like, I have 2 boons and you have 2 boons. That's 4 boons.
Apparently, he's
Go ahead.
what's his name from Third Rock from the Sun.
Can we get him on the show? Why is he not here now? Well, do you
Tonight?
remember
I don't
the
know.
clever move of Arbor Mist? Remember the Arbor Mist
Yeah.
flavored
Yep.
carbonated, or were they carbonated, or like they were flavored champagnes, and it was like,
Yeah.
you know, you get one and you'd be like, hey, girls, I've got some blackberry champagne in my room. As if that was the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Melody used to drink that.
Ugh.
Did Howie just shed a
Everybody loved
tear for an ex-girlfriend? Hopefully.
Oh.
No. But no, I was,
I think
I was so disappointed. Like, in college, we would drink like Cisco, Night Train, Wild Irish Rose, Mad Dog. And then after college, when I was in the Army, people were drinking Boone's Farm. And I'm like, what's this pussy shit? This is ridiculous. Come on.
More clips, Mark. More
More
clips.
All right, sorry.
Well, you
doing a lot.
had me send you so many things, and
All right,
we're
you wanna
34
hear
minutes in, and you played one clip of you
Well, 'cause
talking like you're 12, and that was
It's
it.
just like this is like the pre-show, you know? It's like the pre-show live show.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go, Pete. You're in the pre-show. You weren't even cool enough, apparently,
I mean, it's
to
the
make
real
prime
show.
time. Neither am I, because I'm going to jump off in about 20 minutes.
I'm really,
Yeah,
I want
I'm
you to
not.
stay on until, okay, that's good to know, because I'm coordinating a lot of things, and I'm trying to make some of them surprises, so it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. I'm hosting, I'm recording, I'm taking notes, I'm emailing, there's so much going on. You guys don't even understand the kind of things that I do to make these things happen, and I'm getting drunker and drunker every moment.
Real next level
In
stuff
fact,
going
I
on
already
over
forgot what I was just typing on this phone to someone. I think it's to Justin Campbell. It is. Anyway,
here.
what were you saying? You wanted to clip? Let me see. What other
Clip.
Why don't I do this? Okay, it's time for this. I'll do another screen share. I'm going to close my email this time since I'm screen sharing. This is why I can't post this to YouTube, because I'm scared. I've been screen sharing with my emails open.
See, what I wanted a poorly constructive narrative tying together all these clips like you'd get on like a
That's what you were
Seinfeld or a
You're getting a poorly
Simpsons, like a
constructed
very
narrative.
shoddy
Yeah.
narrative where we're
Yeah.
doing something, and then
Here's
all
a
of a
shoddy
sudden the
narrative.
clip plays. Do
Here's
you
what I'm
guys
gonna do.
remember the time? And then it goes into a shitty clip.
I'm gonna play the first time I introduced a guest ever is when I introduced Stefan Kinsella, probably awkwardly.
And my guest
Go to the
here
tape.
in the Lion's Den,
Lion's
we'll see
Den.
if that one sticks, is going to help us do just that. So without further delay, I'd like to
Without
welcome
further
in
delay.
my
Here's
guest,
some more delay.
Stefan Kinsella. He is the author of Against Intellectual Property,
Audio is all over the place.
what many would call the definitive work on intellectual property, or against intellectual property, against the concept for libertarians. He's also a patent attorney and a self-described, I believe you describe yourself as an Austro-libertarian. Is that correct?
I think that's a good description. Yeah,
There
sure.
it is, my
Great.
very first guest. All right, we're gonna stop the share. I'm gonna come back in a second.
So, did you get tired ending every sentence like on a high pitch?
Yeah.
I'm going to start my first guest.
To be completely
Stefan
honest with you,
Kinsella.
I don't remember the first 5
It's-
years of the show. I have no idea to tell you. I'm gonna
It's
share. I'm
Mark
gonna do a
Claire
screen share.
upspeak.
Yeah.
We're going to do another screen share here. Since we just heard my introduction of Stefan Kinsella, I can now play for all of you a little video sent in by my very first guest, Stefan Kinsella. There is a lot of lead up to this. There's a lot of lead up here. Like, we could probably have a
He's
whole
slowly
conversation.
snowboarding
Probably
towards
have
us. So give
a
him the play-by-play.
Here he is.
Hey there, to Marc Claire in Lions of Liberty Land. This is Kinsella.
Goes by
I can't
Kinsella
be
now.
in person for your 500th episode because I'm skiing, obviously. I was proud to be your first guest, and
He looks like a
you've had
Batman
great
villain.
Show ever since. You're one of my favorite libertarian podcasts, and good luck with everything. Hope you have a good show today. I'll listen to it later, and just want to end with saying, lower my goddamn taxes.
All right, I only have one issue with this video, and I thank you, by the way, for Stefan Catella for sending that video in. Very nice of him because he was not able to come on live. But lower your taxes. That's your message. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened to this anarcho-Austro-libertarian? Lower your taxes by how much?
My taxes are too
this?
damn high.
He's like, I'd like you to lower my taxes.
That's all you
Also,
want me to do?
I'd like you to pay me for royalties for using the intellectual property on this video that I've given you. It's going to cost you 6 cents.
Here, I thought we were ending the state and ending the IRS, ending taxation. No, we're just lowering them a little bit for Stefan, who I thought was so radical. What happened, Stefan?
What's amazing that you were able to get a video from such a heavyweight skiing. It's pretty,
The king heavyweight himself.
I had Lindsey Vaughn lined up, but these goddamn athletes, they always drop out. Rico, stop finger banging your iPod camera. It's driving me nuts.
Hey, do you guys remember when for like a minute Cardi B thought she was a libertarian? It would have been awesome if we got a Cardi B video.
Yeah.
have you ever seen the meme of it's a homeless guy leaned over a trash can and the writing on the bottom says, I went to a Cardi B concert. I thought I was at a Cardi B concert and all it was a homeless guy screaming into a garbage can for 45 minutes.
Oh, we have another. Wait, why are there two Ricos? Why is there another version of Rico coming on? Should I let him on?
Yeah, go. Let's see what happens. This is exciting.
There's two.
This is the content people really want to see. And he's gone.
Gone.
He managed to figure it out. Did you have to plug the computer in?
Rico from different camera angles today. That's exciting.
That's what the people demand. They want to make sure that we have two cameras at all times of Rico.
All right. We're now at the point where several guests do have
So
the
much
link
better.
to this show and could come on at any minute. So, what was I saying?
Then I'm going to congratulate Marc on 500 episodes.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, I've
Though
already
you beat me there.
I've already done that.
Yeah, no big deal.
Well, congratulations to you then,
because
Pete,
you're,
on 500 episodes.
You're a podcasting heavyweight. You're not top tier necessarily, but you are a heavyweight.
I guess our invite to your 500th wrap-up show got lost in the mail.
I didn't do a wrap-up show.
It was just Pete and Curtis Jarvin planning the world domination.
It was the destruction of the United States government. Yeah, it was good.
I did
All
enjoy
right,
that
guys.
interview quite a bit in all seriousness. But
Oh, thanks, man. Have a good evening. Congratulations, Marc. Take care,
Namaste,
guys.
Pete. All right. Peace.
Later, man.
Namaste.
All right, guys. Well, even on this giant drunken mess of a show, we still have sponsors, believe it or not. And I got to say, one awesome thing about being a podcaster and running our own podcast is we actually get to choose our sponsors. We get to only work with products that we like, that we endorse, that we truly believe in. And one great thing about being a podcast host over the years are all the connections I've been able to make. And one of the absolute best connections I've been able to make is a multiple-time guest of mine named Mikkel Thorup. He is the host of the Expat Money Show. And as I have been on my own journey of exploring ways to possibly build a life outside the United States, to invest outside the United States, to have a second passport, to have a backup plan when the shit hits the fan. As I gotta say, if the last year isn't the shit hitting the fan here, I don't really know what the heck is at this point. So I'm sure a lot of you, in fact, I know a lot of you who have reached out to me are looking for more information about the possibilities of at least exploring the concept of spending some time outside the United States. Maybe a lot of time, maybe all the time, but either way, your exploration, your journey has got to start with the Expat Money Show. Mikkel has spent his entire adult life as an expat from his own country of Canada. He has built businesses while traveling the world and done so quite successfully. There is no better person that you can learn from than Mikkel Thorup. So I want you to stop what you're doing and head over wherever you're listening to this thing. You just got to go quickly subscribe to the Expat Money Show and head over to expatmoneyshow.com. While you're at it, kids, I'm running an awesome forum where we also talk about the ideas. It's called the Expat Money Forum. You can find that on Facebook. You can also find it over at expatmoneyforum.com. All right, now that that blowhard's gone, we can move on. So, top 5 worst Pete Quinones interviews. Go, Bowie.
I was actually
Just kidding, no such thing.
No, there's actually something. I don't want to. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, there actually was.
Oh, you're going to say it in an hour then.
I am going to say no. It wasn't a Pete thing. When we were watching, I love Stefan Kinsella, but
me too.
When everyone talks about IP, I just tune out.
You just think it's boring, or what?
That was actually the topic. I did a talk with the Austrian Free Market Roadshow, and the topic was IP. And I went in to this free market roadshow thinking that I wasn't going to be the only person going for no IP in this free market think tank, and it was. And people in the comments are calling me a socialist because I was arguing against internet intellectual property law, and I had to explain to them the reasoning and the rationale and the whole thing about gatekeepers.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, like years ago when he was on, but now, like I've heard everyone's argument on both sides like so many times, I just can't do it, especially when everything's on fire. It's like that's the least amount right now.
I used to have a French client who was is a Catholic priest, and I worked with a nonprofit, and he'd always go, "The world, she is on fire," and I think Howie, that should be your catchphrase from now on.
I mean, when you don't know if you're gonna be able to like leave your house and go to work, or if there's gonna be like a riot, like intellectual property is on the bottom of the list.
You know that stupid ass commercial with Zoe Deschanel where she had like the iPhone and she's like standing next to the window and she's like, "Is it gonna rain today, Apple? Or Siri, what's the weather?" That's gonna be like for like Black Lives Matter riots. Siri, can I go outside today without being punched in the face? No, Brian. There's 6 Antifa outside your garage. Yeah.
You know, like on Waze when you're driving and they'll be like, "Oh, there's an accident 1.5 miles ahead," or a car's pulled over. They're like, "There's a riot 1.5 miles away. You would want to take an alternate route."
Bunch of assholes blocking the freeway again. Awesome.
Dude, on January 6th, when all that stuff, well, I guess it did go down, but like before it went down and people were planning on going there, like Google Maps and all these things like wouldn't route directions to DC.
I saw that shit. I meant to talk about that on ELL. Yeah, it's insane. Big tech literally stopping you from getting directions to somewhere that you might be going to riot, or maybe you just need to go to work because it's a fucking city.
Okay, how hard is it to figure out how to get to DC?
Could you do it if you didn't have Apple Maps right now, Rico?
Yeah, you get on the highway. I would take...
Does Rico live in the freest place out of all of them?
Wait. I want Rico to give away exactly where he lives. I hope one of our psychotic listeners goes and stalks him.
Everyone knows where I live anyways.
Well, only Anthony knows.
Address.
I know what state you live in. That's about it.
I don't even know your address. Anthony knows that.
Anthony, one of our Pride members, our Mufasa Pride members, who was witness to the greatest dunk in Drunken Lions of Liberty basketball history.
When I try to find Rico in Cleveland, I just go to the strip clubs and I ask if they've seen an old drunk man, a 40-year-old drunk man with a small child lately. And that's how I find him every time.
They're like, "That's all we got in Cleveland."
Yeah, he's right over here.
That doesn't narrow it down, unfortunately.
Sir, we're going to need actually a little more information.
We got some beer from one of our listeners, but it went to Odie, and Odie sent it to me. I didn't have his number saved in my phone, and he texts me. He's just like, "Hey, what's your address? I've got some beer to send you." And then I like type in my address and hit send. Then I'm like, "Wait, who is this?" And he's like, "You send the address first? Like, well, you're sending beer?"
Some random person asked address. What a spam message that was.
Howie's like, "I have a policy. It's to always give my address out to people that randomly ask me for it. I've only gotten good things so far."
If they're sending beer, what kind of scammers pull that kind of scam?
Do you ever get like those spam calls where they're like, or it's like a spam voicemail and it's, "Don't hang up, your car warranty."
Oh God, the worst of the ones.
It was like, "Don't hang up, we're sending you a 24-pack of beer."
Well, I hate the ones that are like, they're smart enough now where they're like, "Oh, hey," and you're like, "Hello," and it's like, "I just wanted to talk to you. Are you there?" And it's like designed to wait for you to pause and sound like it's actually responding. So for a quick 10 seconds, you're not sure before you actually hang up the phone on them. Well, I'll give Stephen Ellis, by the way, a shout out. He's the one that sent me the Wild Irish Rose that I'm sipping on right now.
Is it everything you remembered it as?
Yeah, it tastes like alcoholic Kool-Aid. And I'm sure I'm not going to drink enough of it to get a hangover tonight. I'll save it for another night because I don't know. It's a Monday. I have shit to do tomorrow.
No. How many did he send you? He sent you 2, right?
He sent me 2. I have a whole
Save the
another
other
full
one for me.
I will. Well, I'm just
when I
going to
don't care
keep
about my
this as
life
is.
Thursday.
I don't think this goes bad. I don't think it can go bad.
Well, it starts bad.
It's like you could put a cadaver in it. It would last
when
forever.
it comes bad, you don't have to wait for anything.
Yeah,
good.
It's like it actually ages better. It becomes a fine wine.
500 years, it's going to be like the best wine of all time.
It's going to be something.
No one has patience.
Well, it's going to be like those rich assholes that had pirate wine. If you heard this hilarious story, they found a cask of wine in a pirate ship that sank. And they were like, oh my God, this wine is over 700 years old. And people were like, oh my God, we have to try it. And all these bougie dickheads paid like $4,000 each to try this wine. But guess what happened? Because it's cork in there. It's not like they fucking sealed it tight with ironclad, whatever. So they open it up. They pour them each a glass of fucking grayish liquid. And then they drink it. And what do you think it tasted like?
Seawater.
Yep. Salt and buttholes. That's what it tasted like. Money well spent, morons. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to be doing. Lions of Liberty should be into finding pirate wine and then selling it to rich assholes.
I thought you were going to say they all died.
Yeah.
That would be even better.
So is there like trivia tonight or anything?
Oh, I hope
random facts.
I
Does
thought there were going to be a lot of
remember-
clips played. Yeah, I thought Mark had some setup, some fun plan, but I think he has nothing planned except for us to carry the show.
You know, since we're here, since you guys are here, since you're still here, why don't we play a clip right now, actually? A clip. I have to share the screen every time I do a clip, so I got to be careful my emails are closed because you know what goes on in my emails. Why don't we play a clip? Why don't we play Brian McWilliams' debut on Lions of Liberty? How about that?
I've got my very first in-studio guest here in the Lion's Den here in Los Angeles, California. And here with me today for our first whiskey chat, I have 2 of my co-founders of lionsofliberty.com. For the very first time, our first in-studio guest in the Lion's Den, Brian McWilliams. Welcome into the Lion's Den.
Thank you. The splendor I'm surrounded with. I can't even begin to describe, honestly. The studios of the Lions of Liberty podcast are breathtaking to behold. There's sapphires.
I like how that was the technology we had. Like, oh, we're recording a show? Yeah, come to my house to be on it. Like, what?
Yep.
Ridiculous concept.
Every time, remember we had those Yeti microphones where you could set the input to have the dual sides, so we had to sit next to each other.
We'd be leaning into 2 sides of a microphone, like almost kissing, basically, like
sweating, breathing in each other's hot, sweaty breath.
What's the Disney movie where the dogs eat the pasta and then they? It was
like Lady and the Tramp.
It was that.
There's diamonds and rubies. The couch is magnificent. Really, it's plush.
It's a top-notch operation here, no doubt. We spare no expense on the decor and on our whiskey. So, Brian, what whiskey are you drinking today?
I'm sporting a little Maker's Mark 46. It's a step above the usual Maker's Mark. It's a pretty tasty beverage, I will say.
You know, I do miss the theme. I miss that. We should bring that.
Yeah, that was the John Daubert put that in. Hey, we still have that song. He sent us
all the songs.
Do you guys still have
shout out to
Yeti
John
mics?
Daubert, the original editor of the show.
Oh, there it is, the old Yeti. I still have my fucking shitty Yeti. Oh,
I'm waiting. Now, I do have one more video to play at some point, and I'm deciding if I should play it now. Well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until we get some more people on.
There it is. Here's the big old Yeti. The only use this Yeti microphone has now is for me to sit on it when I'm drunk and horny. That's the only purpose this thing serves now.
Why is it inside that weird wrapping paper?
Oh, it's just bubble wrap. I think it's broken anyway. I just need to throw it out.
That's your old Yeti. Okay.
I'm going to put it on a shelf as a memento.
I saw you were giving away books. Did you give away all those yet?
I haven't given anything away yet. I haven't even mentioned it. I'm giving away, I have 15 to 20 books that I'm going to give away to anyone commenting on the live show, which are members of the Lions Liberty Pride. But would you like a book, Rico? Is that where this is going?
No, I was going to have an idea. I'm not going to read.
So you have to have Facebook to get a book?
My idea.
We got someone else coming on. It's
okay.
The Felony Friday host himself. John Odermatt has arrived, everybody.
Hey, look, it's what's that guy? What's that fucking? Like, is it Paul Ryan
with a backwards hat? Paul Ryan has arrived, everybody.
It's the back. Did you just finish working out at the gym? Paul Ryan, backwards hat, red hat.
That's
Odie?
How long we've been around that we remember.
It's only these guys. Where's everybody else?
Pete Quinones was here, but he heard you were coming on.
Was that movie Over the Top when the guy turned his hat around and it was like a switch?
The guy? You mean Sylvester Stallone?
yeah, that guy.
What are you drinking, Odie? Some sort of mango colada?
My camera looks incredible right now. Is this which camera's? I don't know.
I look so good.
Well, we're stopping the show over.
I just I'm so good looking. It's hard not to. But little apple cider and some rum. Well, a toast to Marc for 500 episodes. Congratulations.
I'll drink to that.
Thank you very much. Good.
Cheers.
We're gonna have a very special guest. This might be a conflagration. Is that a word?
Conflagration.
You know, the best laid plans.
How does Brian get the word?
Exactly. I'm the one that mispronounces everything. I'm correcting Marc on everything in this show.
I've been drinking. I haven't. My tolerance is not what it used to be. Let's say I have not. The last year or so, I have not been that much of a drinker. So when I do drink, it goes fast. My faculties go fast, as do my planning abilities, which have always been garbage.
But you've been able to do a lot more heroin than usual, so that's good.
That's the upside. I've been trying to. I have a number of guests that are coming on this show. That are still coming on this show. I know it might seem sparse right now, but it's because I've been trying to time things in a certain way, somewhat unsuccessfully. But within the next 10, 15 minutes, there's going to be probably more action than I have ever wanted with guests coming in and out. But until then,
well, good, because I'm going to be leaving then, so I don't have to talk to any of these assholes.
Perfect, Odie. Do you want to recount? Because I'm in a minute. Actually, first, before Brian hops off here, let's play a clip. I'm going to go back to the screen share mode here for the patrons of Lions Liberty, and we're going to play Odie's debut on Lions Liberty.
Oh God, this will be amazing.
We also have on the line all the way across the country from Chili, PA, John Odermatt, better known to me as Odie. John, how you doing?
As always with these clips, I'm way more embarrassed by everything I'm saying and how I'm saying it than I am by
what's with all like the background noise?
Chili, Pennsylvania.
That was we had that theme song, John Daubert's Whiskey Shot theme song that we had in the background.
Yeah, I love that. I think we should bring it back.
I'm gonna bring it back. I actually remembered how much I love it. But anyway,
it's great to be here. Great to be here from the freezing cold state of Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh. Here, it's supposed to snow tonight, so that's exciting. It's exciting.
I don't know what that is. I live in California, but it's freezing here too. So I don't know why.
This is literally like. You couldn't be more generic. Let's talk about the weather first.
Welcome, first show, big topic.
It's freezing as hell here. It was like what, 60 today?
It was all the way down to 60 today. It was crazy.
So look, we're all a little chilly. That's why we got the whiskey to warm us up.
Mm-hmm.
And John, what whiskey are you drinking over there?
Speak of the devil, you were just talking about Jim Beam. I have myself some Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Exactly, and that's why I'm going to hit pause and stop the screen share. Because as you guys have seen, where did he go? We have a very special guest. I almost said the first special guest.
The thief of Rob Schneider.
Pete was the first special guest.
Known to me.
Our next most special guest, yes. This will be our next most special guest. Will be the one and only. He is connected to audio. Tom Woods, welcome.
Oh no, he's muted. Hold on.
We did the classic. I gotta do the ask mute. It's the foibles of live podcasting.
I just switched microphones. Sorry, I'm using, and I hate to say, every podcaster hates to hear these words, the built-in microphone on my computer.
Oh, no.
Wow. Well, I see where we stand as far as your regard for Liberty podcasters.
I just don't want this stupid thing in my face. That's why.
We still, after 500 episodes here, I still do allow sometimes failed, sometimes still learning their way, the technical ropes of failed podcasters onto the show. But Tom, thank you so much for coming on. It's awesome to have you on our 500th episode, which I got to say, I never thought I'd get this far because I did not start this podcast intending to even make a podcast. So the fact that I'm here is phenomenal.
And we were sabotaging you the whole time. Pretty amazing.
We tried everything. I've told this story before, but it wasn't half a week before I launched the first episode of Lions Liberty thinking I've got this thing. There's barely any other libertarian podcasts out here. And then I look and I see a Facebook ad for the Tom Woods Show coming 5 days a week. Oh my God. All right, but you've been an inspiration to me all along, even though I did technically start about a month or so before you. But it's been awesome seeing you just explode the libertarian podcast, I guess, space in general, and the trickle down effect is real in podcasting. That's for sure, Tom.
I just want to say I'm not looking forward to when Marc dies, but looking to see the tombstone where it says
really quick.
started Liberty Podcast 1 week before Tom Woods. That's all it says on Marc's tombstone, and then the dead.
That's pretty much what I got
Marc,
right now.
Marc, let me first of all congratulate you because it is a significant milestone to reach 500.
From the guy that hit 500 about like 4 weeks in.
Yeah, but you know what? At some point, you have to just acknowledge a milestone because you and I both combined are grains of sand on the beach compared to Scott Horton. How many interviews he's done, right?
Yep.
So just be happy with what
you
you've
did
done.
1,000 before I was born.
Yeah, I think he was in the womb doing interviews. But the nice thing about this accomplishment is just how much you've blasted past what, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, but the standard line they give you when starting a podcast is that the median podcast stops before 7 episodes. 7 is the number.
And that was my original goal.
Yeah, so and you're way past 7. Good for you.
I'm percentages that I can't even comprehend past 7. So I'm feeling good about the whole thing overall.
And by the way, you've done a great. I mean, look, I love your show. I think it's great that it's not just the same old thing over and over like the Tom Woods show. You have particular things you do on particular days. I mean, there's no way I could keep that straight. I'm barely struggling to keep
there's no way I can either.
shows a week. So I don't want to have to commit myself to, Friday, it better be about, look, if there's an episode at all on Friday, it's a miracle.
No, it's truly what I can say from the struggle that especially when I started literally knowing nothing about podcasting, to get even that one episode out a week back in the day. Today, it's still a little bit of a struggle sometimes. The fact that you do 5 has always blown my mind, blown me away, because I know, especially in the early days, how hard it was for me to even get that one episode a week. So the fact that you've consistently done the 5 weeks has always been an inspiration to me, even though you did steal the thunder from my initial podcast launch. I've gotten over that mostly by now, but your consistent output has been always an inspiration, Tom. So it's awesome seeing your show, frankly, lead the way of the libertarian podcast niche. And I think that every libertarian podcast, quite frankly, it's funny when I tell the story about, the reason that I started the podcast is because I couldn't find libertarian podcasts, and people, that's hilarious when people hear that now, because now you can't not find a libertarian podcast. Yeah. I can't find someone that doesn't have a libertarian podcast. But your consistent output over these years has been a huge inspiration to say, all right, if I can get this one done a week, because Tom just did 5 while he was sleeping. So
yeah, well, that's the question, Tom. At what point? How many episodes in are you just going to start mixing in old episodes and be like, no one's going to know? They're not going to figure it out. If I wrote episode 200, they're not going to know.
The thing is, I have a lot of listeners who are like attendees at a Star Trek convention.
Yeah,
where they know more about the episodes than William Shatner does. Well, wait a minute. When
it's like the Simpsons episode where the itchy, and it's like, Tom, I believe you played an A flat on the xylophone back in episode.
Exactly right. Wait, look, he was saying things no Romulan would ever say. What are you talking about? So, but anyway, I was going to say that another thing that I'm happy about for you guys is the standing presumption that if there is any disagreement in the libertarian world, we're going to hash that son of a bitch out on Lions of Liberty. I love that. Good for you. I
love that too. I'm a big
fan. You position yourself like that. Nobody's going to hash it out on a whole Woods show. They don't trust me. I'm too one-sided, right?
I don't know how this happened. I don't know how I became the person that no matter what your beef is, you can trust me to judge it properly. I do try to do my best. I mean, obviously, in a lot of these things, I have somewhat of an opinion. Although I will say, on the Dave Smith, Eric Brakey debate, I really didn't have an opinion, and I left.
They were great.
I left having a strong opinion in favor of both of them. That's how good they both were. Like, I only came away increasing my points on both sides, which made it a very difficult debate to judge, but an easy debate to host. So hosting a debate is really easy when you have people that are so amazing on both sides. So that part's easy.
Can I jump in on this debate thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've done some debates on my show, though, on various topics. Not like libertarian drama and not like Dave and Eric, which I think was the best. That was so great. In fact, I have Eric coming on my show tomorrow. And look, it's a mop-up show in which we're going to talk about what he said on your show. Okay? But
it's called free advertising, my friends. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How we can afford.
So yeah, I've done them. But it was tricky. The most recent debate I did, I had Martin Kulldorff from Harvard Medical School, one of the great Barrington Declaration drafters, and Eric Topol, who has been, he's not a closed school guy, but he's been pretty, doomer on the virus. And he was kind of mocking Kulldorff on Twitter. And so Mr. Wise Guy here said, oh, yeah, Mr. Smart Guy, why don't you come debate him? And to my shock, he said, yeah, okay, fine. When? Okay.
That's awesome.
And then I thought, all right, now proceed carefully, Woods. He doesn't know who you are yet, right? Don't scare him away. So I'm being super nice and polite and friendly. And then I get the email. Well, I've been listening to some of your recent episodes, and you seem pretty opinionated. I'm like, son of a. So I said, all right, look. And he said, look, this feels like it's some kind of an ambush. And the thing is, even though I could be tough on these people, I would never mislead somebody about the nature of the debate or what. I would never ambush the guy, but he doesn't know that. So I got on the phone with him. We had a very pleasant conversation, and I even said, look, you dictate to me what bio you want me to read for you, and I will just read that. So we ended up having a perfectly pleasant thing, but I was like this close to him saying, wait a minute, you're a propagandist. I'm out of here. I made it happen. It was like the Lions of Liberty were smiling down upon me or something.
Tom, all the content you've put out this year on COVID, it's been so nice to hear like a voice of reason and not just the propaganda that's all over mainstream media. Like you've really, and from the beginning, like you've looked into things and your opinions have changed when the data comes in, as opinions should. And it's just been wonderful to have that.
Yeah,
well,
you've been killing it with the newsletters or the daily emails. I've been actually sent those more to most people than a lot of other stuff I send. I mean, my father, I now get. I don't know if he's joined the email list or not, but he's typically who I forward all your COVID emails to. He's down in the free state of Florida, though, so you know.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. But I mean, we want to get the good news about Florida out to the world. Mm-hmm. And I want to be honest with you guys. I mean, this is. In a way, this reminds me of my 1000th episode because it was my 1000th episode and I did a live event and I came out on stage. And even though the whole night was about the Tom Woods show, I probably spent 10 minutes talking about what a great guy Ron Paul was. So now here I am on your 500th episode and you're spending all this time telling me what a great job I've done. I really do appreciate that. But it's true. We want to get the word out about what's going on here because things are actually pretty good here. But I will say to take me down a peg a little bit, this is not false modesty. I'm not happy to admit this. But, back in March when I was in New York up until March 6th, so on the verge of things closing down, I was there seeing plays and having lunch with Gene Epstein and all that. And then suddenly everything went berserk. But as it was going berserk, from the beginning, I didn't really know what we were facing. I didn't know, are 3% of Americans going to die? And you even ask yourself, among my friends, who's going to die? I really did not know what was happening. And I was very nervous. And I was reading articles who I don't know who the trustworthy sources are, who did at that point. Mm-hmm. And the math certainly seemed plausible. Well, if it spreads like this, and then we're going to have this many and this many. And so I was even saying, look, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't feel like it's my role if something that's this dangerous is out there if my first goal is to be the world's best libertarian. I mean, maybe at a time like this, I have to just protect myself come what may. And now I look back on that and I think, oh, even Woods, when the chips were down, started to doubt. So look, nobody's perfect.
It was scary because you don't want to be the one that, that you say something and then a close person dies or something, or you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I was scared shitless too. I'm still scared to an extent. Like it is a real thing. I know people that have had it that it was not a good time. So it's certainly a real thing that exists. I mean, I'm not about to deny that, but one thing I'm not going to be scared of at all is going to be speaking out against everything that's come down about it, because it is absolutely hyperbolic and no one has been on the forefront of that this last half a year or so than you, Tom. And since I have you, I know you got to get off soon. It's a Monday night there out over in the free state of Florida, semi-free state of Florida. One thing I want to ask you though, when you are approaching this issue and you're presenting these what seem like very obvious and reasonable facts regarding the charts, the lack of correlation between mask mandates and lockdowns and basically any restriction compared to what the virus actually does, are you ever frustrated by the fact that people don't seem to care about information, about the actual information themselves? It seems like I think charts are persuasive to those like me who already kind of like agree with you. But I've seen, for me anyway, maybe you have a different perspective, it's really hard to persuade people with that kind of information if they already are so much on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, this is probably the most demoralizing thing as a libertarian that I have observed, is I just figured eventually people would say, look, I don't even know what the rights and wrongs are, what the true falsehoods are, and I don't know what the right numbers are. But what I do know is life is meant to be lived. And at some point, we have to say we've done everything we can. Everybody's depleted their savings and ruined their livelihoods and missed cancer screenings. And the third world is full of, people starving. At some point, we can't do this anymore. We wish you the best, but we can't. If you feel unsafe, stay home. But we can't do that. I mean, it's obvious.
Well, Tom, Governor Cuomo beat you to the punch. He just said that a week after Biden came into office.
Yeah, I know, and I did a newsletter about that.
Figured it out. He had a revelation.
But I mean, honestly,
listen to the Tom Wood show finally.
I thought this was going to happen. I thought it would happen, that there would be more people.
Yeah.
And instead, everybody's going to, and somebody from my high school class who actually turned out to be quite successful, just posted a thing about how he is going to start wearing 2 masks because if Fauci says it, he does it. So I thought, look, nope, I'm not going to jump in on his thread and deal with all his, 400 idiotic friends. So I posted something entirely separate where I said, all right, I live in Florida. I have a friend who lives in California. It's this bozo. And look at the numbers, look at all this and that and the other thing. And then at the very end, I said, now listen to all my high school friends. Because everybody else on my Facebook,
I know this
they
is
all
about
know.
someone.
Yeah, okay, did you see that? Because I had somebody in mind.
I know he's
all my
thinking
high
of someone
school
in mind
friends.
for sure.
I said, you could, if you're still cowering, you could just knock it off. Because if the virus really were the cartoonish thing they say it is, this would be impossible. It would be impossible for me to. I just saw my 3rd play recently. I mean, people are rehearsing plays in Florida. Okay, this shouldn't be possible. And yet somehow it is.
And here he is breathing and living and talking somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have they been able to stage Caligula down there? Because that's my favorite. I feel it might be more difficult with the COVID era. It's a little bit of the old,
Caligula Live, starring Brian McLean.
That's what I'm coming down, Tom. Book me a theater space. You can direct. I will, of course, be the lead actor.
Well, let me tell you something, by the way, for anybody listening who's, I guess he's going to be in El Paso, then he's going to be in Naples, Florida, and a couple other places. But now I've just realized that I just walked into a minefield. I shouldn't have brought this up. It's too late.
Oh, I know where you're going. I know where you're going, Tom.
Too late now.
Look, man, it's not my fucking fault.
The great backstabbing of the year by Tom Woods.
Tom Woods.
We got an F-bomb.
How did I know? I don't know you guys are. I don't know who's trying to get what guest.
No, I don't blame you, Tom. I don't blame you.
How the hell do I know?
Your show's much bigger. You're well respected. I'm not. I'm a clown.
I'm just happy we got Tom Woods. I'm good.
Yeah. No. I'm glad he's out there, man. I'm glad he's out there.
Rob Schneider, the current routine that he's doing is unbelievable. 2/3 of it is against the lockdowns, and it's hysterical.
Oh, nice.
And people are in stitches, and they're cheering for it. Now, of course, this is a self-selected group because the only people who would dare to go out to a comedy show are ones who know it's bullshit, right? So it's that kind of group. Plus, in Florida, and he came out and said, listen, it's only because of your governor that we're even able to do this today. And instead of yelling "Death Santis," everyone cheered like normal people. And I can't believe, I can't believe I'm reduced to this. I don't want to cheer some governor, but geez, at least he didn't ruin my kids' lives. I mean, I owe him that. But he has been you got to see his show. And the thing is, he has a Netflix special right now. And this show kicks the crap out of that Netflix special.
Well, I think he was trying to do something outdoors at least in California or maybe Nevada. I know some of the outdoor theaters he was trying to do, but I just haven't seen it. So I got to try to find him and catch him. Literally catch him and run him down.
He was doing in minor league baseball stadiums for a while. And now he's at comedy clubs that are still functioning. Like I think he's in El Paso right as we speak. And then we saw him in Melbourne, Florida. He's going to do some more Florida dates, then Atlanta. So he's worth seeing. You just love it. You'll love every minute of it.
All right, well, stay tuned for Rob Schneider on Electric Liberty Land with Brian McWilliams.
That's got to happen.
2 years from today.
It's coming.
Well, listen. I'll tell you this. He told me the other day he wants to come back on. And when we're done, I'm going to make a plug for you guys, and we'll see.
I would love that.
We go.
I would like it if you could
we got
gently.
That on tape, so.
Now, then I
and if
had
you don't
figured
get a
out-
plug, we'll just send him this audio clip of the talking about the plug. So either way,
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. And then I'll have to think of what does old Marc Claire owe the old man after I make that happen.
Just ask for a lock of his hair. That's always entertaining. Or an eyebrow. An eyebrow would be good. Just one.
Well, unlike me, he can spare it.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I am planning to pay a visit to the free state of Florida very soon, and possibly, hopefully before then. But my goal. One of my goals this year, I have many goals, is to make it to the live 2000th episode of the Tom Woods Show in Florida.
Yeah.
So that is my eye is on that prize because I'd love to.
Well, can I say a quick thing about that
tell
before
me
we,
what I
before
owe
we
you
wrap
then.
up?
Yeah.
I don't have a page for it yet. I think I've pretty much finalized the venue, and it's a
Disney World,
so-
Epcot Center.
Let's just say it's a really good hotel / resort that you walk into this thing and you say something serious is going on here. Like, it is an awesome place. But
Hedonism 2. Been there. Great place.
Electric Boogaloo.
What, say again?
Hedonism 2. Yes, I know. The island.
Wait till you see this place, though. It's really good. But my plans are I'm going to have a couple of surprise guests that no one's going to know about. And no, they are not Ron Paul. I almost feel like I have to put plus surprise guests, parentheses, not Ron Paul. Okay, everyone would have guessed that. That's not a surprise. No, I have a couple of surprise guests, but we're going to do some fun things, including, first of all, I'm going to have a rematch with that cheater Eric July who beat me in the dad joke contest. He's coming back, and the correct person's going to win that. But in addition to doing like a libertarian celebrity family feud, where it's all libertarian questions, and in addition to a roast of a well-known libertarian celebrity, I have a guy. I mean, you guys, we all love Penn and Teller, the magicians, and they have a really. A lot of people don't know they have a great TV show called Fool Us, and the idea is magicians go on there and perform, and if it stumps Penn and Teller, then they get to open for their Vegas show, and they get a trophy. So there's a guy who goes by the name Doc Dixon. Turns out he's a listener of mine, gets my newsletter. He goes on Penn and Teller Fool Us. He fools them, gets the trophy, the whole thing. So I found out, he wrote to me. I said, well, you got to come on my show. So I had him on my show. So then he finds out I'm doing a 2000th episode. And he writes to me and says, how would you like me to saw you in half with a chainsaw at your 2000th episode? And I said, I would. There is nothing in this world I want more than that. So it's just going to be like wacko, off the wall, unexpected things. Just
That's
fun,
awesome.
all night fun.
You don't tell people ahead of time, Tom, that it's going to happen. Everyone's
But
going
it's
to know
going to be
it's not
that
real.
good that I can even give the magic away, and it'll still be good. And also, let me tell you something. I'm the sort of person who I buy somebody a Christmas gift 2 weeks before Christmas, and every day between that day and Christmas is like torture. I am dying to tell them what I got them. So there is no way I'm going to be able to hold on for months and months and months about being sawn in half. Not happening.
Well, we will be there. I think the Lions can make that happen.
That would be great. And I mean, look,
not.
you're going to see so many people you haven't seen in years. You know, it's going to be a blast.
Well, Tom, thank you so much for coming on. I know, in the free state of Florida, you're a little bit ahead in time there, so I know you got to get up early tomorrow. But I really do appreciate you popping on, Tom, and we will do our best to see you sawed in half in person. That's a personal goal that I have.
That would be great. Well, congratulations to everybody involved in Lions of Liberty. Fantastic job.
Thanks so much, Tom.
All right, kiddos. Thanks again to Tom Woods and Pete Quinones for joining us there in the first portion of Lions 500, the 500th episode spectacular of the flagship show right here on Lions of Liberty. Of course, it's not just me on the flagship. No, Lions of Liberty is so much more than that. It is the greatest libertarian variety show on earth. We also have Brian McWilliams hitting you upside the head every single Wednesday with his weekly shot of comedy, culture, and liberty on Electric Liberty Land, while John Odermatt wraps things up on Thursdays with his awesome new show, a tremendous extension from the work he did for many, many years on Felony Friday. Well, now he's got Finding Freedom, still tackling a lot of that same criminal justice stuff while expanding outside that bubble as well, helping people find freedom in their own lives in so many ways. There is no better time to be jumping on board the Lions of Liberty. And as a bonus to all of you, of course, it was a big bonus to our patrons. Our patrons got to watch this entire show live, streaming live in our Facebook. I also posted the entire video to them through the Patreon group for our $10 and higher members, and they also got to hear the full, raw, uncensored version, whereas you guys are getting this slightly cut down, slightly broken up show right here. But if you do enjoy the work we do, if you have been a fan of ours over the years, I would ask you to consider, for as little as $5 a month, you can help us grow this show, help support what we are doing here at Lions of Liberty. We really do pour our hearts and souls into this thing, and I know all three of us are looking to change directions in our lives in many ways, including being able to do this full time. We are really at a point where we are growing more than ever, and we have seen such growth and such tremendous traction with the audience, especially in the last year, especially with everything going on with coronavirus. So many people might have been worried that might have been thinking we might lose money, might be losing support. We've been gaining support. We've been gaining tremendous amounts of support from so many libertarians out there, new libertarians, people that are just curious, people that are just supportive of what we're doing here, and it means so much to us. We are always growing and always looking to put more and more into the show, and it's you guys out there that give us the power to do that by listening and by donating through Patreon. Of course, you can also toss one-time donations our way through PayPal at paypal.me/Lions of Liberty. You can also go over to our main website, lionsofliberty.com, for various ways you can donate through cryptocurrencies as well. So there are very many ways that you can help support our mission here at Lions of Liberty. Of course, the easy way that doesn't even cost you a dime, is to leave us a 5-star rating and a great review on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts. That is the number one way to continue to rise, to trick those darn algorithms into supporting the ideas of liberty. So thanks to all of you who have supported us over the years, and for those of you that just could not get enough, for those of you that want a lot more drunken talk and drunken memories and antics and reflections on Lions of Liberty for years past, stay tuned. Part 2 will be here very shortly. Until next time, my friends.
Live long and live free.